There is a developing story in Oklahoma. Scientists there now say it's very likely that wastewater injections from fracking have brought a rush of earthquakes.
And we've seen a lot of earthquake activity in the last year. And what we've seen in the last 24 hours in our area alone, 3 small quakes were centered in Oklahoma. We know with the earthquakes comes a lot of questions. Cake's Annette Lawless joins us live to share what you want to know about the shaking. Good morning, Annette.
That's right, Jamal and Gloria. A lot of questions, and a lot of those first questions actually come out here to the Sedgwick County 911 call center. That's where people call in and they're curious what all is going on. But our Facebook fan page, another area that people have a lot of questions. So I grabbed some of the questions that you viewers have asked us. Now this one comes from Sam Hunter, and Sam asks, is it fracking? Well, I tell you what, Sam, I talked to the Kansas Geological Survey, and they tell me that this is not fracking when it comes to all that seismic activity here in the state. However, Kansas has invested, among other agencies, about $300,000 for the state to look into what all is going on, especially down in Sumner and Harper counties. Our second question comes from our viewer Miranda Lee, and she asks, what's the strongest Kansas earthquake in history? Well, I tell you what, Miranda, the strongest one actually occurred on April 24th, 1867, all the way up in Manhattan, Kansas. It was a 5.1 magnitude. Interestingly enough, at least 7 states could feel this earthquake alone, all the way out to Ohio, believe it or not. And then our last question comes from Veronica Hudson. She asks, how in the heck did Wichita feel it? And she's asking about the earthquake that had happened over the weekend about 2 hours south of Wichita. Well, I tell you what, Veronica, when it comes to earthquakes, it actually reacts a lot like water. That's the ground here. That's what we're going to call our water here. The green is the ground, and this I will call our epicenter, the main point of impact for that earthquake. When we tap it here, we see the emulsification, and that's sort of the pulsing going throughout the ground, and those are the waves. Now, there are lots of different waves. They have the push-pull waves. We have the S waves. Scientifically speaking here, essentially, if you're closer to that epicenter, you're going to feel the strongest points of the earthquake. Further away, you can still feel it. In fact, with the 4.1 earthquake that occurred, like I said, about 2 hours south of Wichita, that one can be felt by at least 300 people all the way up in Kansas, out in Missouri, even down in Texas. One thing that was noted in the research that I found is that sometimes your activity impacts if you can feel it or not. People who maybe are driving are less likely to feel it, but if you're laying in bed or perhaps sitting at your desk, that's an opportunity where you may feel it the most. All right, coming up next in our next half hour on Good Morning Kansas, I'm going to show you a little bit of the latest changes in the state in terms of maybe putting a cap on the earthquakes happening in our area. I'll show you whether or not that's actually changing things for the better. Reporting live in Wichita, Annette Lawless, Cake News.